Good morning, everybody. Good morning, it's JPR, and with the Kalos League rapidly approaching in the XY&Z anime, there's a lot of talk about Ash's supposed ultimate team, especially since the magazine scans said he'd be using his ultimate team in the Kalos League, although there's a good chance that they're just talking about his Kalos region team. But even if they are, it wouldn't hurt to kick back and go, gee, what is Ash Ketchum's ultimate team? It's a question that a lot of us have already wondered before. So in this video, it's time to break down the stats, moves, types, and everything in between of the 43 Pokemon that Ash Ketchum owns to determine which 6 would be on the Dream Team. Quick disclaimer, this list will include the Pokemon that are currently in trading and the ones that Ash has released, since it's technically not impossible for any of them to return. So let's begin. So in slot 1, of course we have to have Pikachu because it's arguably Ash's best Pokemon, and there's no way he'd ever leave it off of his ultimate team. So first, let's head over to Oak's lab to analyze all of Ash's past regional teams. In Kanto, Ash caught Butterfree, Pidgeot, Bulbasaur, Charizard, Squirtle, Kingler, Muck, Tauros, and then Lapras and Snorlax in the Orange Islands. First off, I think we can eliminate Butterfree, Pidgeot, Tauros, and Lapras because none of them ever did that much battling, if any at all, or they simply don't have enough training. Although Ash's Bulbasaur and Squirtle were longtime companions and great battlers, both of their current jobs focus on things other than battling, so odds are they haven't trained much since the last time Ash saw them. With that, I think we can consider Charizard, Kingler, Muck, and Snorlax for Ash's ultimate team. Next up is Johto, where Ash caught Heracross, Bayleaf, Quilava, Totodile, Noctowl, and Donphan. We are eliminating all of them except Heracross though, because they simply don't have the brute strength that Ash's other all-stars have. Plus, out of all the regions, Ash spent the least amount of time with his Johto region Pokemon, so I feel like they could use a bit more experience first. I would take Heracross out for the same reasons, but his performance at the Sinnoh League was definitely one of the most impressive out there. Not to mention that Heracross was already quite powerful to begin with. In Hoenn, Ash caught Swellow, Sceptile, Corphish, Torkoal, and Glalie, and no, we're not including Ambipom because that's technically Dawn's Pokemon. I think it's pretty obvious that only Sceptile stands out in this crowd, so we'll move on to Sinnoh, where Ash caught Staraptor, Torterra, Infernape, Buizel, Gliscor, and Gible. I'm taking out Buizel and Torterra simply because they tended to lose a lot more as time progressed, while his other team members didn't. And while Ash's Staraptor was very good, I feel like it also lacks the strength of these last 3, so we'll take them. In Unova, Ash caught Unpheasant, Oshawott, Pignite, Snivy, Scraggy, Leavanny, Palpitoad, Boldore, and Krookodile. But unfortunately, having such a large team means that most of them got very little time to battle, or they simply weren't that strong to begin with. So out of this entire crowd, only Krookodile advances. In Kalos, Ash has caught Greninja, Talonflame, Hawlucha, Goodra, and Noivern. While all 5 of them are very good, Noivern has only battled a handful of times, and Talonflame currently has a losing record, so they're out. Hawlucha, while strong, has also not competed in very many battles, and thus he is out, leaving only Greninja and Goodra. So with the preliminary rounds down, we're left with 12 Pokemon and only 5 slots on Ash's team. So in the second slot, I feel like Goodra is definitely quite deserving. But why? I mean, it was only on Ash's team for 15 episodes, while the rest of these Pokemon have been around for seemingly ages. The answer is quite simple. Goodra is a powerhouse. It has the highest base stats of any Pokemon that Ash has ever owned. It has 3 very powerful moves in Bide, Dragon Pulse, and Ice Beam, and it can even heal itself by using Rain Dance. And to cap it all off, Ash's Goodra has never lost a battle. Someone recently made an entire chart of Ash's Pokemon listed by win percentage, and of course, only Goodra sits at the top with a perfect record. In slot number 3, we may as well include Goodra's Kalos brother, Greninja. Not only does Greninja have a very high winning percentage, but its bond with Ash is so strong that it triggers a brand new form of evolution that nobody has seen for thousands of years. If that doesn't put you on Ash's dream team, then I don't know what will. It's already held its own against Wulfric's Mega Abomasnow, Diantha's Mega Gardevoir, and Alon's Mega Charizard X, so there's not much else to say here. Slot number 4, I would say, goes to Sceptile. Now, of course, the major highlight on Sceptile's resume is that it defeated Tobias's Darkrai at the Sinnoh League, making it the only Pokemon in the entire Sinnoh region to do so. And excluding Pikachu, Sceptile was tied with Staraptor in 3rd place for being on Ash's team for the most episodes, at 186. In 2nd place is Swellow with 189 episodes, and in 1st is Bulbasaur with 210 episodes. But seeing as how we already wrote them off, Sceptile is first in line. Slot number 5 is where it starts to get really tricky though, as I would currently consider Primate, Snorlax, or Krookodile. Let's start with Primate. Despite being untrained, this thing was an absolute beast in terms of raw power. And odds are, with it training under Anthony for all this time, it's probably even more of a savage now. But the issue is that we don't know anything about Primate. When it left, its moves were decent, but not that great, and a lot of moves have been introduced since then. Plus, we only saw Primate in a couple of P1 matches under Ash's command, and they weren't your average Pokemon battles, that's for sure. With that being said, Primate is simply too much of an enigma to be on Ash's ultimate team. I'm sure it's going to be powerful, we just don't know how powerful. Next is Krookodile, who definitely has the best moveset of any of Ash's current Pokemon, including Stone Edge, Dig, Dragon Claw, and Aerial Ace. It doesn't get much better than that. But Krookodile's main issue is that it has never beaten anyone noteworthy besides Bryson, whereas Ash's Snorlax has fought against Claire, the Pokemon Sumo champion, Gary Oak, and Frontier Brain Greta, added to the fact that Ash specifically reserves Snorlax for intense battles. However, I feel if Krookodile fought against an important person or Pokemon, it would probably have a good chance to win. Just because it hasn't done it yet doesn't mean it wouldn't do it in the future. So for slot number 5, it's a tie between the two. And finally, we've arrived at slot number 6. And I know what you're thinking, JPR, why haven't you listed Charizard or Infernape yet? And that's because they'll be duking it out right here. Charizard and Infernape have both proven to be two of Ash's strongest Pokemon ever, so we'll have to get super analytical to determine who wins. First, let's compare their moves. Infernape knows Flamethrower, Flare Blitz, Mach Punch, and Dig, a pretty diverse set of powerful and useful moves. But as of Charizard's last appearance, it had Flamethrower, Wing Attack, Slash, and Dragon Tail. Honestly, not that impressive. But we have to keep in mind that Charizard's moveset basically changes every time that Ash summons it. Or at least, it did. Remember, at the end of Best Wishes, it was confirmed that Charizard's training in the Charcific Valley was complete, as it finally stayed behind Oak's lab with the rest of Ash's Pokemon. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible for Charizard to learn new moves at the lab, I'm just saying that it probably won't be getting the intense training that it did at the Valley, meaning that Charizard's future strength is quite uncertain. So we'll have to look somewhere else to determine the results. In terms of time spent with Ash, Infernape was on Ash's team for 139 episodes, while Charizard was on Ash's team for 123 original series episodes and 26 Best Wishes episodes, making for a grand total of 149 episodes with Ash. You can argue that Charizard didn't do anything in Best Wishes, but it's not like Infernape was constantly on duty in Sinnoh either, so Charizard just barely wins this one. But in terms of battles and actually winning, there's a clear victor between them. Both of them have been used in about 15 to 20 battles by Ash, but going back to our old charts, Infernape has an 83% win rate, while Charizard is only at 65%. Not only that, but Ash and Infernape constantly struggle with controlling the Blaze ability throughout Sinnoh. Meanwhile, Charizard was pretty overpowered from most of its travels with Ash, yet despite that, it still has a lower record. Charizard has defeated a legendary Pokemon, while Infernape hasn't, but let's be real, it was a freaking Articuno. Let's also not forget that Charizard lost to a Dusclops in its very next battle. Meanwhile, Infernape defeated half of Paul's team in the Sinnoh League, all while resisting the damage from poison. If you ask me, that's pretty impressive. So with all moves, stats, and personal connections to Ash considered, I would say that Infernape is the clear winner for the final slot. But of course, that's just my opinion. If you have your own ultimate team for Ash, be sure to post it in the comment section down below, rather than butthurt Charizard stuff. Please. At any rate, I'm really looking forward to what you guys have to say. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, then you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button up there. Or if you're not convinced yet, just click the middle of the screen for some more videos. Follow me on Twitter at JPRP28 for even more Pokemon content. And if you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And I'll see you guys next time.